Hello everybody, Hellcracks here, and welcome to another episode of Thoughts from the Inner Sphere, and today we're going to delve into the Marauder. Yeah, I think it's been, 3 years ago that we had the Marauder on the table and talking about it in a very short video. And things, well, it's not in the 3050 book because it's one of those unseen, seen, reseen, unseen, that whole malarkey that goes with all that. But I just wanted to delve back into it and talk about it. And, well, now that we got new technologies available, and you may have a Marauder in your stable as a mercenary commander, and you're looking, well, I got all this new technology. What can I do? And, well, lots of things. Well, the base Marauder that we're going to be talking about, which is going to be the basis of all this, which is the, the 3D, 3 Delta. That's the version where they get rid of the autocannon and replace it with the large laser. That's going to be kind of our basis. Now, you could look at the 3R, which is pretty prevalent, and that one has the autocannon. Now, if you get access to really cool munitions, you can add have a ton of special munitions for that autocannon and kind of change the profile, how that thing can work, and actually make that AC5 maybe work better for you. But it's going to be frontline mechs and house mechs and stuff that usually get all the fun stuff for a while before, during a clan invasion, before you even start seeing all that fun stuff. But we're going to go and use the 3D as our basis for talking about stuff. Now, the 3D was the one with 2 PPCs, a large laser, and 2 medium lasers, and 20 single heat sinks. And it has 184 points of armor, which is like, that's not great at all. So you could have 231, I think, points of armor is the max out on that. So you're basically looking at, about 3 tons short of max, 3.5. But there's tonnage to be played with on this mech to try to figure out how to do that. Now, before we get into how to convert something or thing, let's just go back and, I'd never delved into any of these because I was talking about the 30 Succession War stuff, and a lot of this stuff hadn't started showing up. Now, there was in 39 the prototype, the 4X. This one had Indosteel. Hey, kind of a prototype of the Indosteel chassis. They had 12 single heat sinks and 6 double heat sinks. So it was like doubles and singles put together. Which kind of then it had the large lasers in the arms, and the autocannon was replaced with 2 SRM-6 launchers. Kind of interesting. It makes it a more short range, in close in your face type of weapon system, but it's an option. But the cool thing is that in 39 people were playing around with trying to figure out how to make Indosteel work. It's like, oh, we knew it used to exist, now it's back, and the formula how to make it. All right, so we know that there should be mechs running around with Indosteel, especially Marauders, coming off the factory line by 3050. One would expect it, but for some reason, somebody doesn't watch or read the fluff of their own game or something. All right, then we have the 5 Delta, the 5D. This one has the Helm memory core coming off the factory line in 3051. So this is right after the clans. But once again, they replaced the engine. This is a 3D, but with XL engines. So it's kind of like, why? I don't know. But they threw XL engines on everything, thinking it was a cure-all, when it's actually not. And they had ERPPCs with a large pulse laser instead of the autocannon, which, that makes a lot of sense for in close fighting, because you can replace that, the autocannon for a large pulse. To me, that's not a bad deal. I wouldn't argue with it, but if I had a standard 3D and I had that autocannon, I could rip that thing off and then instantly replace it with the that large pulse laser and have some tonnage left over, and I just throw it into armor. And if you had ferrofibrous armor, I'd use ferrofibrous armor plus the extra tonnage that you saved to increase my armor, especially in arms and legs type of deal. Then we had the 5L. This one came out in 3067, so we got all kinds of cool new toys being dished out right here. Now this one had stealth armor. It had, oh, what was it? What did they add here? They had ER large lasers, ER medium lasers. The autocannon had, in place of the autocannon, they had a ER PPC. So that is another option. So they had two large ER large lasers and ER PPC. All right. So you're looking at, and then they had triple strength armor. And they had 18 double heat sinks to handle a lot of that heat that got pumped out of that thing. And with the triple strength, you know, they kind of make it so if you got in close, and that, well, I think this had an ECM on it also, but the whole purpose of that one is if somebody does get in close, you can kick somebody, practically kick a leg off with that, with the triple strength if you got it heated up. All right. Then we have the 5M, which came out in 3051 from the Free Worlds League. They had an XL engine, so yeah, okay. And then it replaced everything with Star League weapons. So you had large pulse lasers, then you had medium pulse lasers, and then an LBX-10. All right, so they kept the autocannon, but they beefed it up with an LBX-10. And so that's an also case. So then 16 double heat sinks. So really, the only thing that's long range shooting with it is your LBX, and that's not really long range. So it went from kind of a fire support mech to being a in-your-face type of mech. Yeah. And those XL engines. So maybe if you put some jump jets or something, which they did, so now you have 4 jump jets, and so this is more or less becomes a city fighter. You know, it's like in close, in cities. So you come around the corner and it's like hit them with the pulse lasers and in the autocannon to strip with any holes or in the armor. You have that LBX to go crit hunting with. So that was kind of its role right there. But with the XLs, not so great. Then we have the 5R, which is an upgraded 3R, which came out in 3068. Carries XL engines once again. The heat sinks are doubles. And then they had the PPCs replaced with ER PPC, the autocannon with a Rack 5. I'm not overly a fan of the Rack 5. Now, if you get it to work, it does wonders, but on my luck, it's really bad. And 2 medium lasers were retained. Alright, so you got that. And it carries 14 tons of armor and ECM. And it carries a C3 slave. Or finally, we get something with a C3 slave on board. So now you're looking at something that can do really good fire support from a distance. So if you got your scout or your eyes and ears out front, or maybe even a medium mech that has a slave on board, gets closer, and then your PPCs and that Rack 5 can do some good work for you. Yeah, that's not a bad deal. And then hopefully that no one decides to target you and tear you to pieces. Then we had the 5S. Came out in the Clan Invasion in 3051 that is. And it has XL engines, has double heat sinks. Okay, and then ER PPCs, medium pulse lasers. The autocannon replaced with a Gauss rifle. Alright, so they took all that tonnage and put a Gauss rifle with some ammunition. Alright, so this is really strictly a good fire support mech, and hope that no one attracts any attention to it, because, you know, it doesn't have necessarily enough armor to protect it from those XL engines being taken out, but you know, it can dish them out some good damage. Personally, and it probably wouldn't have hurt to have a C3 slave on board. If you have something like this, that would have been good, great. Then we have the 5T, which has elements of both the 5M and the 5R. So it came out in 3068. All right, finally we're getting back to in 3068. They decided, hey, we got Indo Steel and XL engines, so there's a lot of weight savings around here. Unfortunately, it comes with the miserable XL engines. Has 2 large pulse lasers. All right, so we're going back to that. 2 medium pulse lasers, the Rack 5, and then it has a targeting computer with 14 tons of armor. Well, so you have something that can shoot out a long distance and have a target computer, so it's a little bit better to hit with up close with those large pulse lasers if you get within 10 or less. So there you go. But your Rack 5 is basically your only weapon system that shoots out a good distance. Then we have the 6L, which is the introduced in 3070. Has a pair of plasma rifles. Alright, the particle cannons were also downgraded to a Hellstar PPC. So we got a standard PPC. And a Guardian ECM and triple strength armor. So, and 3 less heat sinks. So yeah, it's one of those ones that the 5L gets hot, kicks somebody's leg off, but now it's kind of almost like it was like, oh well, we'll just do a less and stiller job of it. Then there's the 70 that came out in 3068, XL engines, 2 large lasers, 2 ER medium lasers, Rack 5, target computer, and it carries ECM. So 14 tons of armor. So basically we're looking at the same type of thing. They're throwing XL engines on this thing right and left. And there's a whole bunch more. But, alright, let's just go 39S. This came out in 3068. Light fusion engine. Finally, light fusion engine. We're finally getting one of those. And then Indo Steel. Alright. This is not looking so bad. We got double heat sinks for the heat. We carry 2 ER PPCs and LBX-10. And equipped the 2 ER medium lasers and the flamer. And a beagle probe. And ECM. I don't really see the need for a beagle probe on a Marauder. I'd rather use that tonnage for something else. I don't mind the flamer because if you get around infantry, you know, you can cook a few on your way through. I'd rather either use some of that tonnage from that beagle probe into maybe more armor for that matter, up it some more, or put some more close in range weapon systems. But okay, and then we got the last 9W, which is the Word of Blake. All hail Word of Blake. Carries an ER large laser, medium pulse laser in each arm, backed by snub-nosed PPC in the torso, 5 improved jump jets, so we can get around. Has improved C3 computer, alright, which is typical that you find in a lot of Word of Blake. All hail Word of Blake. And room for these improvements used the light fusion engine, okay, and then a heavy duty gyro. Alright, so it helps it stay on its feet a little bit better. And I don't mind the light fusion engine as much. At least that's an improvement I can live with. But yeah, the weapon systems are, you know, some of those PPCs and ER large laser and medium pulse laser. So it has something to shoot out a little bit of range, and when you get this thing in close, and with the jump jets, this thing can get in behind somebody pretty quickly and open up a can on their rear arc. Give them some rear arc love. Now, let's just delve into something where we were talking about the 3D, which is the one with the 2 PPCs, 2 medium lasers, a large laser, 20 heatsink. Alright, so you have this thing and you want to upgrade it. Or maybe even the other one. The first thing you always want to do is put it into double heatsink mode. So if you get a handful of those double heatsink, and you had 20, there's no reason more than 16, because if you got the PPCs, obviously you're going to want ER PPCs. 2 ER PPCs cause 30 heat, and if you have 16 doubles, you're going to dissipate everything and can run with no problem with no heat. So you're dissipating everything you got. And that leaves you free with 4 tons, which you're probably going to go, oh, is he going to put ferrofibrous on it? Yes, he is. He's going to put ferrofibrous on it. That leaves you basically 2.5, 3 tons to play with. You're like, yes, indeed. Now we have a pretty much almost a maxed out mech. We got the energy weapons here, ERPPC, and you got that large laser. You might as well just go with a large laser for that matter. Let's just replace it. So now you got some longer range weapon systems. So now you still got 2.5 tons. Now, all right. So if you don't have access to C3 or the ECM or anything like that nature, you might as well, I personally would put on 3 add 3 medium lasers. So that give you 5 medium lasers, so you got something up close. And if you can have 5 medium lasers and fire the 2 PPCs, and you are still running cool. Or you could fire the large laser for that matter. It depends. But if you're like decide to run hot for some reason, you can always fire the large lasers, the medium laser, or a PPC medium laser, or however you want to cook your goose there. But it's looking at, you know, wow, man, that ER large lasers not really has a home or any place. And you're like, yeah, you're probably right. So in that case, you may think about possibly replacing it with a large pulse laser. And if you had a large pulse laser, you might it's one of those deals where you can add a just one medium laser. So you'd have a 2 ER PPCs, a large pulse laser, and then your say 3 medium lasers. There's something there. Now later down the line, I wouldn't be opposed to putting a light PPC on this thing. I think those come out in 3067, 3068, somewhere in there. If you're that far down the line, and to me, it would be putting a light PPC instead of the AC5 would be possibly a good option. Put that, you know, it's only 3 tons, so there's a major savings in weight. So go that route. But basically what I'm saying is, first of all, I would replace all the standard weapons on this thing with just ER weapons and a pulse laser, not pulse laser, but double heat sinks, ER larges, medium lasers, and we're talking 3058. And then trying to figure out a balance someplace, you know, like with ferrofibers to add some more armor on this thing. So you have a choice of going with a mech that has a lot of up-close personal firepower, or you can go with a long-range fire support mech in a way. Now, I would not have a problem of, if you like pulse lasers or you like jump jets, get rid of the large laser. That saves you up some tons. You could put 4 jump jets on it. That will still leave you with some tonnage left over. You still got, let's say, 3. You could put a couple medium pulse lasers on it and another medium, or just 3 medium lasers. So you could be running on adding a whole bunch of weapons for up close, This is something I've done before. You got 224 points of armor with your ferrofibers, and you're sitting with 6 medium lasers and 2 ERPPCs. So if somebody gets in close, they're going to be a hurting unit. And it will work fairly well with doing some good damage to, if you got a bunch of clan elementals come your direction. If they're close, you could hit them with the 6 medium lasers and do some damage. You might kill 1 or 2 of them, but the odds are you're just going to do a bunch of damage to all of them, which is all your other buddies and your lance may clean up the house with. But there are some options for you. And I wouldn't be opposed to dropping the autocannon for jump jets and have some in-close support weapon systems myself. Now, if you got into where you got the C3, drop one of the medium lasers for a C3, then you still got 5 medium lasers and 2 PPC, so you can do fire support, and if somebody gets in close, you got that, and then it's a nice balance of 5 medium lasers and the PPC, and you're not heating up at all. Not bad. There you go. That's just kind of thoughts, processes going through my head at the moment. Kind of rambling. But that is everything. That's when it comes to the Marauder. It's one of those mechs that it's hard to balance out, hard to make some improvements on it. And sadly, they always keep putting XL engines on it. Now, if you get the version that came out early that had the endo steel on it, wow, that's something you can really play with then. Take a standard one with the endo steel. If they had that version that come out of the factory, yeah, that's some good tonnage that you can play with. That's 3.5 more tons, and what can you do with an extra 3.5 more tons? That's a few more weapons. All right, we'll see you in the next one. Outcracks out.